Three things you learned on this trip that you never knew before. That's a tough one, isn't it?
Why would you want to think that's a tough one?
I don't know. I can see the wheels turning there so much. Give it your best shot.
Three things that I learned from this forum is that I felt in action the experience of young people being together, the kind of impact we can create together throughout the Commonwealth. So impact is one, creating impact is one. The other one is, looking for grassroots level kind of solution. How is it that problems could be solved simply rather than having to go into so many complex things to get problems to solve. So looking for grassroots solutions was basically one of the things that I learned from the forum. And I would say the third one is how to find your way around London.
How to find your way around London?
Yeah, because that was pretty new for me. It was a pretty new environment, going from train to train, getting lost, having to find your way to the forum, and having to make it on time, and managing your energy, and all of that.
And you did all of this?
Yeah. And every other young person from Guyana did it too.
Any particular anxiety?
Yeah.
What was that?
I was so anxious that I would not be there on time, and I wouldn't have the energy level that I'm used to. To some level, I found myself being depressed because of the traveling.
Oh my gosh!
I'm not accustomed to it.
Would you like to go back? Would you like to return to this forum next year?
Most definitely. I believe I have a place in the Commonwealth to definitely give back numerously in young people's development.
Why do you think they chose you in particular?
Because I'm always active. I'm always active doing work out there. I'm all, tons of my posts you're always seeing with young people. I'm always going somewhere with young people. I'm always doing something with young people. And they're posts that I will never put out there because the identity and the sensitivity of some of the target groups that I'm working in, more specifically those children's in the home. I visit them very often and I work with them. But those are some of the people that I would never, want to put online or post. There are other persons who, I would help. And if they talk, if they're very sensitive to social media, I will never, post those kind of things. So I'm always occupied with working with young people.
Message. What message you have for young people of Guyana? What is your general message to young people in Guyana, and what message do you bring from this forum for the young people of Guyana? So two messages, unless they're the same.
Okay, so the first thing is that never give up. No matter how difficult, the environment, the circumstances may present itself, never give up. Because if I had given up, then I would not have been here. And the second thing is, continue advocating for things that you believe in, things that you want to see happen in your environment. If you believe that there is something that is happening to you that is not right, you don't feel good about it, advocate for it. Be someone who starts the movement. Young people, you can create movements, trust me. You are a living movement.
What is, how can the government and private sector help push young people, or what can they do to help?
Well, I think they can create necessary infrastructure to basically provide mentoring, coaching, funding opportunities for young people to grow. While funding might be very, very important to make a dream or an idea realized, I believe we need coaching, we need ample amount of mentoring as young people, because you can't do this just with funding. You need mentoring.
Capacity. So how can our generation and the older generation and the diaspora in particular, how can we help?
First of all, I would say everyone in their own capacity can help. You can reach out to a young person out there who is residing in Guyana. Reach out to them. Let them know that, you're here to help in XYZ area. And, you could probably do it in a Facebook post, or you could put it out in the media. You want to help. And trust me, young people will come after you. If you say, it's just like you, Selwyn. You said, you want to provide a platform for young people's voice to be heard, and for young people business to be seen in Guyana. And then more and more young people kept reaching out to you without you realizing the kind of value you are providing to us. It wasn't monetary. It wasn't something that was done for, name or fame or anything, but it was something that was done to basically, target young people who are actually creating impact out there in our community. And that was something very great of you to actually recognize what young people of Guyana have within them.
Thank you. I always believe that it takes a village. It takes a village to help us. Where I am today is because different people have, in their own way, helped me. I couldn't get here alone, and I do these things because I want to give back, but also, more importantly, I'm hoping that I can inspire and motivate others to do, as you said, whatever they can within their capacity. When you dwell among the young people in Guyana, and I can't express enough how much innovation I see in Guyana, and how impressed I am with young people. I went to Innovate. I wasn't scheduled to go, but I went to it to see Narendra, your friend. And I didn't see him, but I met some amazing young people and things that they were doing there. And I'm like, wow, imagine if the diaspora, if this can be seen throughout the Guyana diaspora, how much impact this will have, and how much it might inspire people to invest in these young people at home. When you look around, who are some young innovators, thought leaders that just jump out at you?
Narendra Nath first to begin with.
Of course.
Eldon Marks, Dr. Rosh Khan, Jason Barnwell. Yeah, those are some of the young people who come to mind. Patrice Douglas.
Yeah, Patrice, yes. Anije. Evie.
Evie Kanai, Onika Stellingberg, Vishal Joseph. Those are some young people, some amazing young people.
And how could I forget Evie's husband?
Mr. Kanai.
Yeah, no, not Mr. Kanai, it's Guru Charan. My friend. Miguel, yes. Oh gosh, Miguel is so sharp. And then of course there is Vishnu. Vishnu Durga. Vishnu is an amazing person. But I'm saying all this, and I call some of these names because I want people to recognize that with all its problems and all its challenges and all its issues, Guyana has an orchard of young people, of possibilities. And as you said, it's not just money. It is about us downloading our knowledge and giving moments of our time. And I think of people like Karen, with STEM. Karen is going to kill me for forgetting her last name. People like Karen Abrams, right? Exactly. Who goes down there and work with young people with robotics and so on, and people like Karen Wharton, who takes a contingent there a year. Dr. Blackman goes and teach mathematics and so on. It takes a village, and I am not going to stop pushing that concept I want to push a movement of it takes a village. Let's repair our villages. Guyana is a nation of village. But this is not about me going on and on about what Guyana needs. This is about you, Samantha. Oh, how can we forget Red Entertainment with those three amazing young ladies, Chelsea Fong and Christine King and Saskia Weingart. Amazing at what they do.
And those are some of the names that you hear.
Yeah.
There are names you haven't heard of. There are names down there that is actually budding right now that, we don't know about. And I think people really need to get down there and work with young Guyanese. Often you see the negative things that are coming out of our society, but nobody really reports on the positive things that are happening within our society. More so, the focus basically on what young people are doing.
Mm-hmm.
I think, that is something that is very much needed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How do you, with all the activities, balance what you're doing, your commitments with leisure and family? How do you balance this?
That's a hard question. So that's probably the most difficult question. But I'm still working on getting there because sometimes I do slip through. Getting caught with X, Y, and Z at the same time. I'm still learning self-care and self-love and empathy and all those things. I'm still learning to clear my schedule, when and how to say no and yes and all of that, because there's sometimes, there is only so much that Sam can handle. I wish I have a clone of me,
When you go back to Guyana, what are some steps you're going to take with young people?
I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm going to just take it to another level.
Tell us a little bit about Global Citizen and what is your connection to it? I see you smile brightly. We finally get there.
This is the $1 million question. So basically I was invited along with a few other Guyanese, myself, Tiffany and Kobe. We went to the Global Citizen concert in London.
Mm.
So Global Citizen is
Samantha, hold on. Let's take a quick break. I want to see if I can position that mic a little higher and, let's take a quick break and...
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
Okay.
They're having problems.
We're back with Sam. Global Citizen Samantha, let's go.
So I see Global Citizen as a phenomenal platform for basically advocating through arts, performance, and entertainment. Global Citizen, I think this is a time that you should take step into coming to the Caribbean, because the Caribbean is a place that needs you to advocate for social issues and problems that it has been experiencing. More specifically, come to Guyana, because we are the highest suicided rate in the rated country in the world. We have tons of issues that is challenging and affecting young people, such as unemployment. We have domestic violence, rape, there's so many more other things that is affecting people out there when it comes to our population and even the Caribbean. And I think Global Citizen needs to take its platform into the Caribbean, because Global Citizen will add value to the kind of advocacy, the level of advocacy that is actually carried out. And I think there are tons of advocacy that is happening in the Caribbean that needs a level of touch that Global Citizen is actually offering. And they're powerful. They're really, really powerful. And to be invited to a Global Citizen concert where Manowar Hussein was actually performing, one of my icon, and Kofi Annan, and there's so many more other influential leaders out there who took the stage to voice their concerns and to actually advocate for a better world, and they're actually taking action. And that is something that I really admire about them, because if you have a problem and you're advocating that we should end, or we should stop, or we should create a better world, we should put forth solution, I think they're doing an extremely great job at taking action. Taking action is important, because advocacy and movements that are happening out there, there are tons of them that are happening out there in the Caribbean. But I still think that it needs a touch of Global Citizen.
Well done, Samantha.
Yeah.
What are people most surprised to learn about you when they get to know you?
That I'm very spontaneous. I am very bold.
Uh-huh.
I'm not afraid to speak my mind. Sometimes I get overboard with it.
When did this start happening, Samantha? Were you always like this?
No, I wasn't always like this.
When did you find your voice?
Probably in my early 20s, like when I met Narendra.
Really?
Yes.
But Narendra is a very quiet. Well, I'm actually going out on an assumption that it is Narendra that triggered this. But what triggered it?
When I met him, I was basically a quiet person. I wasn't really doing much, wasn't really saying much. I was basically trying to find myself. And he would be that power, that voice when we have discussion. If you think this is wrong, then speak out. If you think this is something needs to be changed, then go change it.
That is interesting, because Narendra is such a quiet,
yeah,
very quiet person. I mean, he communicates with me easily, and I was surprised when you told me how very quiet he is. But he also told me that the two of you, y'all are great friends. You have this thing you do whenever there is a challenge, whenever there is a problem to solve. The two of you would get this whiteboard.
Yeah.
You'll have your markers, and you will fight.
Yes.
You will duel.
Yes.
But at the end of the duel, you'll come up with a solution.
Yes.
Why do you do this? How do you guys survive the duel? And I'm asking you to talk to us about this, so that young couples or friends, right, can learn from this experience. How do you survive the duels?
First of all, I think we understand the ingredients of passion, of true love, really wanting to change our current environment, circumstances, So while we are here together, we believe that we have very strong components, different components. Both of us, while we might be in the same field, we have our difference as well. And to bring out that difference, one other thing is that we must never fail to challenge each other. We must challenge each other at every cost. And we know that whatever we are going to go through, if we have to, put each other down within the kind of debates that we would have, and you would hear us very loud sometimes and getting passionate, no, this is not it. No, this is it. Oh, Google said this. Oh, according to XYZ journal, this is it. So sometimes we do have an academic cuss out, if you want to call it that.
An academic cuss
Yeah.
out. Who usually wins? Sorry, go ahead.
Well, we both win,
There's no winners.
At the end of it, we don't look for a winner, but we look for something that is going to better solve the problem.
Solution.
Yeah. And you have to be very strong with this, because sometimes you can touch each other soft spots, if you want to call it, but we generally have fun with that over barbecue or KFC, or sometimes, well, now Narendra is eating healthy, so he's like, I'm not having that what you're having, I'm gonna have this, so let's see who's gonna win this challenge. And yes, we'll go on the whiteboard, and we'll have our ideas and our points, our thoughts mapped out there, and I'll just take the floor, and sometimes he takes the chair, and I'll finish my part, he's finished his part, and we'll have a big race, and who wins gets the prize.
What is your favorite thing to do for relaxation?
Oh my God! Sometimes playing game, go by the seaside, lighting a candle and let it evaporate the room with the scent.
I like that.
Yeah.
What are we, my generation and older generations, what are we missing about the young people in Guyana?
What are you missing? I think you're missing the reality that we are moving with technology. We're quite innovative. We're quite fast. And there is this notion and there's status quo of hierarchy between the older generation and the younger generation because of age, or because of, the notion of someone thinking that, you are mature because of your age. I think someone is mature because the amount of information they're exposed to. Maturity is nothing anymore to do with age, because if you're in a society where older people look down on younger people as the problem, as the mendicants, I don't think that we are going to basically move forward if we continue to do that. I think we have the opportunity now to basically join hands, because we believe that the older generation still have an amount of experience that they can share with the younger generation, so that we don't have to go through some of those experience. And that is where I think mentoring and coaching is important.
If you, Samantha, were to be sitting in front of me right there,
Yeah.
10 years from now,
Yeah.
what would you be telling me about your accomplishments?
That is something that I have not thought about. But if I would be sitting there, I'd probably tell you, Selwyn, I lived. I lived my life.
That sums it up.
I achieved.
Uh-huh.
I dreamt. I worked for it. I achieved it. And basically, I lived it. And that is the point where I would want another young person to basically lead, and me taking the back seat. Maybe next 10 years, I definitely would want to take the back seat. That is where I basically see myself. I don't really see myself doing all of what I'm doing right now, because I basically want the younger generation to realize that they are the leaders of now.
How does President Samantha sound?
What? I really don't see myself becoming a politician, president of my country. I still believe working at the grassroots level with people is something that I love to do. I don't really see myself taking a high seat. However, I have that vision. I have that drive to create impact for 1 billion people across the Commonwealth.
I love this.
You
And
know,
I only ask this question, and I want to address that question that we tend to ask young people from time to time, as though a political track or the presidency is the most impactful or the highest. I mean, it's the highest office of the land government per se, but it doesn't necessarily make the most impact. I mean, there are other things that young people can reach for. Like you yourself, here you are, you don't hold a political office, but your social and cultural capital very high. And I applaud you for that, Samantha.
Thank
You're
you.
vocal, you're smart, you're brilliant. Well, you know where I stand with you. But I must ask you though, what are you most passionate about? What really gets you in the gut? What makes you get up and I want to do this?
challenge, problems.
Problems.
Yeah, those are things, and struggle. Those are things that get me going. Um, if you have a problem here to solve, it will keep me up at night. And backtracking to the conversation that we were having about politicians, wanting to be a politician or being in space of a politician. I'm encouraging young people to get into politics. I am encouraging young
Why?
people. I believe we are at a stage where young people are basically advocating, and they're doing so much. They're creating movements, they're leading movements, they're making a difference in their community. And those are the type of leaders that we definitely need within our political system. Because if you were to observe some of the things that are happening within politics, for some of us, we are growing in the political system to believe that politics is indeed something bad. It's terrible because of the type of pictures that was painted to us. But when you step out into international politics and you basically see what politics and policies development really is, there is an awakening that happens there. I had that awakening in Jamaica when I was just placed to work in a group to convince young people to get involved in policy development and politics and so forth. And that was basically the moment. In that moment, at the beginning of it, I didn't like it because I don't like politics. I don't like talking about politics or getting into politics. But I found myself, understanding politics from a different view, from a different lens, and realizing and understanding how powerful role politics can play. And I would advise our leaders to stop playing division politics.
On that note, and it's you've given me a very powerful segue into a question I want to ask you.
Yeah.
There are two things that stood out for me as I do these youth programs. One is that your generation, the young people, you collaborate, you help each other, you
Yeah.
empower each other. You
Yeah.
That is something that is very missing from our generation. I don't know why. I'm not gonna get into that. But you encourage each other. I remember asking several of you at different times. So, do you expect your friends to help you? And the response almost, it's like everyone would look at me as though I'm stupid. What do you mean, do you expect my friends to help me? But I'm saying this to ask you this, and as quick as possible. What would your generation tell a country about our race problem? How?
We don't even give a damn. I'm telling you this. All we care about is being together, have fun, enjoying each other culture, learning about each other culture. Of course, eating each other food. you know, I this is a very, very important period for us young people, and we always say like the Douglas group is actually a demonstration or a protest against racialism in our country, or the division that is happening. So just yesterday we were having conversation about that. Like, you go back to India, you go back to Africa, where are we gonna send the Douglas people? or the mixed race kind of people. We were having like joke conversation, but on a serious note, I think we should stop with this. Going out there and looking at Guyana, I think we have one of the most diverse type of culture in our country, and that is something that we can value. That is something that we can utilize to grow our community, to grow our country, because it is so diverse. It's six now. Well, with the mixed race, it's actually 7 different ethnic background, culture, so many different ways we can actually explore to solve problems within our community. And diversity by itself is actually powerful. It's basically having people of different backgrounds coming together and working together as one people, one nation, one destiny. That is very, very powerful as a Guyanese, to go out there and to tell the world that this is who we are as a people. Because many times I'm always mistaken for an Indian national, and when I tell people that no, I'm a Guyanese, this is where I'm from, and we have XYZ culture into our society, and this is what I was growing up into. And when you go out there and you're people who are accustomed to one culture and you're accustomed to like 6 of them, and that's a plus on your personality.
If you could go back in time, Samantha, you're young. I ask everybody this question.
Yeah.
What would you tell your 18-year-old self?
If I could go back to the time, what I would tell my 18-year-old self: change your mindset.
Change your mindset.
Yeah.
What is your biggest takeaway from this forum?
My biggest takeaway from this forum: never limit yourself to the level of impact that you can create as an individual. You don't need to be a national delegate, you don't need to be a CARICOM youth ambassador, you don't need to be a Queen's Young Leader. You can create impact. You don't have to limit it.
What makes you laugh out loud?
Fake people. People who say one thing and do something else,
Samantha, thank you. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.